Am I ready to make this video? I'm not totally sure that I am, but I also know that I've waited long enough and I need to make it. So I'm just gonna start talking. I've already made it once and I edited it and I uploaded it and I threw the whole thing out. So let's do this again. If you're new here, my name's Cami. I'm 37 years old and I'm autistic. I have 5 children. At least 4 of them are autistic. They've been diagnosed or waiting for an evaluation to see if the 5th is also autistic. But we strongly suspect that he is too. And my husband is also autistic. So we're a really neurodiverse family and we are okay with that. And today I am talking about ABA, which if you don't know, is applied behavioral analysis. It is a type of therapy that is often suggested for children, adults, autistic people. It's been prescribed formally for 3 of my kids, with it being strongly recommended for the 4th, who hasn't been diagnosed yet, that it will probably be recommended to. And that's what we're talking about today. I've gotten this question a lot. Are my kids in ABA? I have avoided this question. I have not answered it. I used to answer it openly, freely, but for the last, 6 months maybe, I've avoided it. And that had everything to do with the internal struggle that was going on in my own mind about the decision that I knew that I had to make. So I'm going to go back, and at the end, I will tell you how my view has transformed over, the last months, and how my choice and my feelings have changed. But first you have to know where I'm coming from so that you can understand how I got here, I guess. When I first heard of ABA, it was right after Maggie, our middle daughter, was diagnosed as being autistic when she was 3 years old. And the first thing I heard when she got her diagnosis was that our insurance would, thankfully, everyone said, cover ABA. And it would cover a lot of ABA. She could start 6 days a week at that point of time. It was going to be in a home. In the beginning, it was just in the mornings. It was from 9 in the morning to noon. So actually it wasn't as much as it would be later on. But 6 days a week, and that was probably the hardest part for me, because I am very, very introverted. I'm very, very shy. And when I talk about how much her diagnosis changed our lives, that's what I'm talking about. It was that there were therapists in our home every single day, well, not every day, but 6 days a week, doing ABA with her, 6 days a week. And I was so stressed out. I felt like my house had to be perfect every day. I felt like everything had to be perfect every day. It stressed me out so much. But the therapy, and everyone, our doctors, every single person that I knew, there were social workers, doctors, every therapist, every person that I spoke to recommended it. This was the thing that would help her have a full life. It was what everyone said. It was what every book that I read said. It was everything that I heard, and I didn't have any reason not to believe it. I knew not to believe Autism Speaks. I knew their message was obviously wrong, but I didn't hear anything bad at that point about ABA, and so I happily put her in it. I felt like it was really a blessing. She was in it within a week of being diagnosed, and honestly, it wasn't anything like what I've heard. Everyone was really loving and good with her. She seemed like she enjoyed it. Patrick was only 1 at the time, but Sadie would be involved in it. I was there for every moment of it. There was never any sort of punishment. No one even told her no the whole entire time. We would have family trainings. It was always very, very positive. To me as a parent, it looked really good. There was a lot of playing on the floor. There was a lot of sensory play. And there was a lot of work at the table for her too, but not that much as a 3-year-old. And the behavioral technicians who came in to work with her were, as a whole, really, really loving. And she had the most amazing BCBA. We're still in contact, and she's a friend. To this day, I'll call her a friend. She's extremely good with the kids. She definitely cares about her kids. And so that was our initial experience with ABA. And I always felt so safe with Maggie there, which was really huge because I didn't feel safe with Maggie with very many people. And then when Maggie turned 5, it was getting harder because Patrick was the toddler who was into everything. It was so hard to keep him out of Maggie's workspace. And by then I had been through literally thousands of hours of ABA sessions that she had been in. I'd been there for all of them. I felt totally confident and safe with the people that she was with, and so I let her start going to the center and having in-center ABA. And again, she seemed happy, she seemed fine. And when we went to our local school, where she would have been going at that point for Sadie and Patrick's speech, not the school district we live in now because we hadn't moved yet, there were teachers in the hallway literally screaming at kindergartners and preschoolers. This was when we lived in the city. And it was just such a tense environment, and I couldn't imagine sending her there. And I also didn't really feel like I could handle her teaching her at home at that point. So I really felt like we had her in the best possible place, and I still hadn't heard really anything bad about ABA at that point. And our doctors were still saying, like, you have her at the very best place possible. And to this day, that's still what all of our doctors say. Once she turned 5, she ended up going a full school day from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And as soon as Tessie was diagnosed, Tessie started going in the mornings. And then when Tessie turned 2, she was accepted into this very good program, a university program, where she would be going from 8:30 to 4 each day, which seemed like really long days, but I wanted the best for her because that's what I've always wanted. And the thing for me was I never wanted them to not seem autistic. It was just that I wanted them to have as many skills as they could to survive and get by. To me, when I'd been in ABA sessions, it seemed like that's what they were teaching them. We'd even had a meeting at the beginning with the people who ran the center, and I had said, I don't want you guys to try to make her not autistic. I want her, I just want what's best for her. And they totally agreed. They seemed horrified when I mentioned not making her not autistic or curing her. So I really felt like we were on the same page. And through all of this, I've met some really amazing people. I feel like all of the people who've worked with our girls have really cared about the kids and have wanted what was best for the kids and have really felt like they were doing the right thing, which is what makes this video so hard. For so long, we worked so hard on Maggie's eloping and on so many things at ABA. And when she went to school, there was the trauma stuff that happened on the bus at school, on her way to school. But she was obviously more and more stressed out at school by going to school. And she seemed less stressed out by ABA. Maggie's made it very, very clear that she didn't want to go to school. She always made it clear that she wanted to go to ABA. It made me feel good about sending her to ABA, and it made me feel like, I was listening to her, even though she's 9 years old, because I felt like she communicated well enough that she was telling us what she wanted, because she could tell me that she was stressed out at school, that it was too much, that the sensory overload was too much. I felt like she was getting more out of ABA, which was another reason that I felt okay sending her to ABA. But lately I felt more and more uncomfortable. I don't know. I think it's listening to more autistic adults about their experiences, even not bad experiences about ABA, just about not feeling challenged, which I can definitely see with Maggie, feeling frustrated just by all of the repetition in the table work. And there would be more days when she would be upset, more meltdowns, and just she wasn't eating. I would pick her up and she hadn't eaten all day and she was getting so thin. Just more things that kind of set off, is this the right thing? Are we doing the right thing in my head? And made me question myself. There was still all this pressure of, this is what all the doctors say is the right thing, the best thing. And if I take her out of this, there's these huge wait lists. I mean, the wait lists are huge. We're going to lose her spot. And what will we do then? Our school district can't take her. And what will we do? And even Tessie was seeming burnt out. At 3, she's seeming burnt out. I was finding myself just wishing that we could try a break. But if they miss more than 13 days in a year, they're going to lose their spot. And that's always there, hanging over your head, losing your spot. I just wanted to see what it was like not going so that we could try it. And then this happens, this whole quarantine, and suddenly we're all out of school. And all I could think was, please just let this last for long enough so that I can know the answer. And by the time we'd been out for a week, I had my answer. I knew that I was never putting either of our girls back in ABA again. And maybe I should have realized it sooner than that. I was just so scared that I was going to screw it up by pulling them out, that I was going to do the wrong thing by going against the doctors and everything that everyone had ever told me who knew more than me about autism, that I went against this instinct, this feeling that's been here for the last 6 months, that maybe I should take them out. Their social worker called and I told her, and she was completely supportive, which was great because I was really nervous about telling her. I told her that both girls had seemed so much less stressed, and that when I asked Maggie if she wanted to go back, she said no, which I'd already decided by then. I just wanted to see what she was going to say. I am trying to introduce the idea of school here, and whether or not, if the eloping gets good enough, whether or not she might go to school here with her brothers and sisters. Tessie will be able to go to school at this school with her brothers and sisters next year, which will be amazing. Maybe someday Maggie will too, I hope. But yeah, I wish I'd listened to my gut earlier. We've had good experiences with OT and speech, and that's what we're going to be doing for now. But right now the girls are just having a well-deserved and a much-needed break after a long time without breaks. But we're done with ABA. There are a lot of people who get involved with it because they want to help and they think that it helps. But honestly, as I realize more and more how much stress masking has placed on my life, just the masking that I internalized and forced on myself, I can't imagine how much being taught to mask day after day, how much damage that can do, even with the very, very best intentions. That's suppressed stems, that's forced eye contact. They aren't things that people think of as really major, but they are very much a part of ABA. They're just the tip of the iceberg. This isn't really like a deep dive into ABA. I know it just scrapes the surface with my personal experience. Maggie was in it for 6 years, 35 hours a week. Tessie was in it all day for 2 years. So there we go. That's it. We're done. I'm probably dreading the most telling their doctors. Maggie's eating more. She's eating every meal. She hadn't gained weight really since December 2018. She wouldn't eat almost all day. Most days when she was at therapy, she would maybe have like a handful of popcorn. Sometimes she'd have some SpaghettiOs, but usually not. Now she's eating a lot. She's happier. She's running around. It's been a challenge getting used to the new routine and everything, but I also feel like she's a lot less stressed out. Like she's talking more, and that is pretty amazing too. And we are even working on her walking around without running away, and I feel like we're making some improvements there too. So I'm hoping that maybe we're gonna have less eloping, I hope. I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. That's just a hope of mine. Anyways, so ABA, I started out being a huge cheerleader for it, and at this point, we're done. Our girls are no longer in ABA, and that's something I really never thought I would say. So for those of you who are explaining to parents your experience and who are out there and feel like no one's listening, you're doing good work. Sometimes you do get through to people. That is it for today. If you like this video, we'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in all things autism, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.